Hello, and welcome back once again. So, let's take a peek at some Construction 8 stuff here. It's been a while since I've been down this far. So, here we have the Sword of Agnumnimlar. So, Argmiller? I don't know. This is the one I was talking about when I played, wow. Saromadia, because if you're using big communion balls, being able to drop a Will of the Fates in the beginning means that things like Rain of Stone Traps, this will be able to stop basically giant AoEs from destroying huge communion balls. You're only able to put this on one unit overall, but this is a extremely good sword to have if you happen to be a large communion nation. The Dimensional Rod, so if you actually hit somebody with this, it's going to shift them out of this world, and I'm trying to remember if it shifts them into the Void or if it shifts them into one of the Demon Realms. I'm pretty sure it shifts them into the Void, actually. It's been a long time since I've used it. Honestly, it will probably destroy most SCs, because I'm pretty sure it shifts them into the Void so that they gain Insanity. Quickly strike people. The Rod is both very addictive and a sure way to Insanity. Okay. So, if you hit something with this, basically you shift them into another dimension, even like a gigantic SC that's wielding a bunch of gear that you would make down at this kind of level. So, a very good item as well. But you'll notice a lot of these are very, very hard to cast. Like, your nation can only cast generally a handful of these items, by the way. Like, all of these high air that we're looking at, or high astral, I have zero ability to forge as this nation. And there's only one of each of these items that can be in the game. Here we've got Tempest, which, honestly, I don't think is really all that. It does do Storm at the beginning of battle, and then you can cast Thunder Strikes as well. The thing is, you can go ahead and grab up a Staff of the Storms right here that auto-cast Storm. It's 10 gems cheaper. So what that you can't just use Thunderstrike off of the item. Not a very good item. I guess I should mention as well, a lot of these items are cursed, and a lot of them are tainted as well. So they will horror mark you. And things like the Dimensional Rod, the horror mark chance is really, really high on it. So, once you put this on a unit, it's probably going to die fairly quickly. Demons will come and eat your soul. Our Armor Virtue actually really good off 4. That means that they're having to roll against their morale to attack you. But instead of just like an awe, you're up to bonus. So basically their morale is going to be... At awe, they're just rolling against their base morale, so this would be, I think, at morale -3 is the attack here. And it's not real heavy on the encumbrance, not real heavy on the defense negative, and pretty good on the body protection, to be honest. Here we have the Blink Sandals again. These allow you to blink around on the battlefield. Not sure why you would really want these overall, so a little bit of a weird item. Boots of the Plains is actually incredibly powerful. I really wish I had something that could forge this, because I would put them on my Prophet, and then I could just teleport around for these last couple. Instead, I made him some air boots, so I'll be utilizing those instead. These are tainted, so these have a very high chance. I don't remember a lot of these chances, because it's been a long time since I went to Construction 8. Well... That's kind of a lie, actually, in my max player game, so it's really only been a couple weeks. But generally, I mean, you don't really look at most of the gear down here, because a lot of it is pretty much crap. Tome of High Power, Air Magic, and Astral Magic, but again, it's going to go ahead and horror mark you. Thankfully, this one's low enough to where you can, if you really need the Air or the Astral, you could probably cast it with a lot of nations. Sure, the unit's going to die afterwards, but if you can maybe get your hands on some new boosters or something, it can be fairly useful. Flying Ship is actually really, really good. It allows your armies to basically fly for whatever unit you put this on. So this is actually one of the few reasons I would say you actually want to come up here if you can actually forge this, because the Flying Ship is really, really good. Doppelganger Amulet, I mean, Stealth 50. Uh, it's not increasing your stealth by 50. It's actually giving a unit stealth. That's pretty powerful. Generally, there's literally, actually, not generally, there's literally only I don't think I have anybody that can forge it, do I? Yeah, so stealth boost just increases your actual stealth that you already have, which makes it harder for you to be found by patrolling forces and stuff like that. The Doppelganger Amulet mirrors the... It's the Death Earth armor piece. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I did mention it for the Diaoni as being a very good item because it's the only item that is not a Construction 8 item that will actually hand you stealth. I actually am pulling a complete blank as to the name of it. Sure, let's take a peek at you. And we're not really gonna be able to see everything because I don't have all the cross paths here. So here's the Rod of the Dead, Death. This actually has Control Dead. AoE 1 though, I mean, Control the Dead is not like an overly powerful spell in and of itself. Undead Command as well. Yeah, so what? I can still an AoE 1 dead. Yeah, that's really not that impressive. It's really not. Pretty worthless, honestly. Sickle Whose Crop is Pain is actually pretty nice. When you deal damage with this, it's going to will harvest the pain of all those killed. It's going to do a decay effect on the backside of it, but it basically will farm you death gems from killing things, but it's not a terribly great weapon in and of itself. I mean, length 1, attack 4, and defense 4 is pretty decent. The damage is alright on it. It does have the decay effect even if you hit something, it doesn't die. The Sickle Whose Crop is Pain is actually pretty good just because you can get a bunch of death gems with it. Not a ton of nations overall, I mean, are going to be able to access something like that. Here we have the Scepter of Dark Regency, so Death Magic bonus of 2, Death Ritual range of 2. It's actually going to give you major life drain, so just like it says here, yeah, this is not like the partial life drain off the Hellsword we just looked at. This is a full HP drain. The partial only does a max of 5 hit points and 10 fatigue points. This just has full-on life drain, which is actually, I mean, with the Death Magic bonus 2 is alright. If you really can manage to get like Death 6s and get up here, you can do things like tarts with it in the much later part of the game. Sword of Injustice. Protection of the Sepulture. So this is a MA Airmore spell. And it's an Unholy Priest grants magic resistance for most undead beings on the battlefield. But it is a magic resistance negates easily. So any higher type undead that actually have pretty good MR to withstand banish spam, they're actually not going to get the bonus magic resistance off of this. This is just generally good for chaff, like lots of skeletons and stuff. Basically, it's really good on MA Airmore, and you could probably get some pretty decent use on it out of, what's the other demon nation in EA? The monkey demons, the ogre demons. Lanka. Because Lanka actually has death mages, so they can have regular priests summon up just boatloads of skeletons. Again, how often are you going to come down here for literally a single item, though, is really what the overall thing is about at Construction 8. Here we've got Wound Flame, so this is going to disease your guy right off the bat. Extra effects on damage is Plague. It's special, so anyone become grievously festers. The sword become affected, carried, and still unless undead. I don't remember what Plague does off the top of my head. You're going to have to forgive me on that one. I don't remember it being a good weapon, so it's probably not. Scepter of Corruption. This is going to allow you to cast Banefire. It's going to give you a command of 50. it is going to horror mark you, and if I remember right, it's a pretty good chance too, like 10%. So a couple years at most, your unit's dead, and that's pushing the long end of the boundaries here. Honestly, not really worth it, especially all things considered. The Flailing Hands, death magic bonus of 1, actually pretty easy to forge overall. It's got, looks like fatigue damage off the backside and fear and cold. Full swung, the chilling, they hit. Yeah, I don't know. It's alright. I mean, honestly, if you're just needing the death bonus here, Skull Staff and putting a two-handed item on any type of thug or SC is not always questionable. There are times you want to do it, like the snake staff. Where is it? Okay, apparently you can't forge it, but the staff with the poison on it can be pretty decent in some situations. It's nature and must have a cross path. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Jade Mask is Fear 10, Death Magic bonus of 2. You're able to cast Rigor Mortis, so very, very good. But you need a Death 6 and Nature 3 mage. That's a pretty hard path to come by, even when you start adding in the rest of this. But this is excellent on an SC overall. You get MR, you get regeneration, you get poison resistance, you get 50% dark vision. So pretty nice mask, but how many units can actually forge this in the game? I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm going to say not a lot. Now, I really like the Crown of the Ivy King here. It's going to give you Awakened Vinemen, a little bit of regeneration, Animal Awe, the Force Survival, Poison Resistance. It's going to auto-cast the Bark Skinning. If I remember right, this actually has a higher level of Ivy King over the Ivy Crown here. Why don't I just maybe forge it and we can see. Let's look at the rest of the items, though. Crown of Despair, Fear, it's cursed, so you can't remove it afterwards. Dark Vision, 100%. Really, again, though, what are you possibly going to do with it? So it's going to help you when performing death magic and when animating the dead. So I believe it gives you a reanimation bonus off of it. Most of the reanimation spells are pretty terrible, though, so not really much value there overall. Flesh Ward, let's see, Reinvigoration 2, Strength 4, it is tainted, so horrors will come to kill you shortly after getting this up. So Defense 0, Amazing Strength, and ease of use of Blood Magic. Oh, Blood Magic bonus of 1, okay. Outstanding the force of him instead. Okay, that's right, this one is... this is actually really strong out of all the items here. This is going to be... oh, what's the name of it? It's like the Blood Bless there, but it is the actual good version of it, and I can't... Damage Reversal. This is going to give you damage reversal, which is actually really strong. I think it's the only item in the game that will give it to you. Fenrir's Pell, it's going to start Howl to begin in battle, but you are going to automatically go Berserk. I mean, Howl's a great spell, but when your guy's just going to charge off and usually try to die with it on, not really a whole lot, but it does have actually pretty decent stats for just a pelt, if I'm going to be honest. Robe of the Druid, so very good magic resistance and very good... elemental resistance off of it, so could be a decent counter item, honestly. Boots of Callidius, so Reinvigoration 10. This is a very strong item, especially if you're going to be forging up like a top tier actual SC. So even when I gear guys out, I'm usually not trying to bring them up to like SC stats, which you're going to need really like 30 armor or 30 magic resistance to basically make them unkillable to that particular type. You're really going to need the reinvigoration for some of the earth items that allow you to do that. Protection of Garon. Whenever your hero's killed, it's going to drag whoever kills it down into the Inferno. So much like the Dimensional Rod, instead this is going to actually throw them into one of the Infernal Realms. So a lot of chance they're going to really get mopped up pretty good, even if they're a pretty strong unit. But you have to have your unit die to cast it. Again, questionable. Sinless or Horror, actually pretty decent, honestly. Being able to put that on somebody. It is tainted, but you gain flying, you gain ethereal. You can't remove this from a unit. Fear 30. Pretty decent, to be honest. Just due to the Sinless or Horror, but if I remember right, this has a extremely high chance to have your unit Horror marked. What do we got here? Manual of Crossbreeding, so you're going to crossbreed better. Yeah, crossbreeding's really not all that great. I think it might actually increase the result chances as well for better stuff. Wondrous Box of Monsters, so you open it during battles and a bunch of summons a bunch of monsters. Sometimes, though, the monsters try to kill your guys. So, yeah. It's, yeah, just throw a spell. It just makes monsters every turn, and sometimes they try to attack and kill your guys. It's honestly not all that good. Green Eye is actually pretty good, just due to the penetration bonus of 2 here. So you can replace both your eyes on something that is like trying to use a 100 precision spell, and basically gain an extra 2 precision on top of the Eye of the Void. Auto spell sleep, not really all that impressive. Black Book of Secrets, Death and Blood booster right here, and it actually does not taint you, so that could be nice as well. It's not a terrible spell. Again, if you're really looking and you're just kind of short for any of the particular globals that you really need, you can always come down to Construction 8 for a lot of these items if you happen to have the correct paths. Just don't expect to find a lot of value here. The Ankh, it's going to give you life after death, so as your units die, as long as they're not undead, they're going to raise up as skeletons immediately after. Pretty decent, but Death 6, pretty hard to get out there. Pocket Lich is actually pretty terrible. No, not pretty terrible. This is a terrible item. Definitely not worth 20 gems. So, yeah. Where is the Earth, the one that I actually boosted up with Earth Magic? Because that's the one I want right now. There you are. So let's go ahead and... you know, I think we're not really going to do this, but I was just wanting to look at the Monolith armor right here. Because this is what you're going to need, like those Boots of Callidius, to turn around and help with. But this is a body protection of 30. If you happen to throw this on a unit, which also gains regeneration, the Boots of the Callidius, and then you're probably going to be putting it on an 18 MR unit anyways. You drop on a anti-magic amulet for 4 magic resistance, a lodestone for another 2 magic resistance. You'll probably go with, you can go with a leaden shield if you're really wanting to push your MR. Let's see, that would be 6. So that would push you up to like 24, which is really not out of the I can't die area for the MR, but you could do like a lead shield on top of it. And I'm trying to remember what weapon you would use with it. This will help you get a unit that is basically unkillable. So there are some nice items up here, but a lot of these are just very hard to forge. So if we just kind of take a look, let's do, I don't know, this guy. I mean, how many of these can I actually access here? That's what really the question begins to be about. The value you will get out of the Construction 8, and what you're going to see is my big mages here that can pretty much cast more than most of them really can't access most of these. Any of the Death 6s are out of my reach. Water 4s or Water 6 I can grab up. I can grab a few items, few of the more low tier off of my Gaiges here. But again, it's not going to be really this overwhelming force. Call Lesser Horror not really that good because it's a battle spell. They do have a... they like to kill your guys'. Whoops. Well, yeah, we're forging something. I don't even remember what I'm forging anymore. So that's just kind of a glance through just to kind of point out why it's just not worth coming down here. I mean, about half the items, and you can only forge one of any one of these items. They are unique. You can't have multiples of them. Most nations are going to only be able to access maybe 10 items down here, and the number of them, they basically have to be like a game-changing type spell, and you're just not going to find, or game-changing type item, and you're just not going to find all that many down here that really are actually worth it. Would coming down here and being able to cast one Mine Hunt with a single unit actually be worth, I don't know, going to Conjuration 8 and picking up your Elemental Queens and Kings? The answer is no. Your Elemental Queens and Kings are probably going to be a better deal overall, and there's a lot up here in 7 as well, because usually you won't push past that Construction 6 unless you happen to want Golems. Golems are actually pretty fantastic, so you may want to actually push for something like that. Yeah, enough talking, I guess. Yeah, I'm just kind of bitching and moaning about the construction items there. I don't know. It used to be a really strong one in Dominions. Wow, I didn't show the Chalice. Well, the Chalice has actually lost a lot of power, so... So, Battle in Kepris, I managed to take out the Troglodytes. Repairing, the entrance has been breached. I'm starting to destroy it, so... Let's go ahead and... We're just going to try to storm the castle, but I'm going to leave these guys here, because if they don't manage it, I'm going to drop in next turn and do it. And we should tear through Kalium fairly quickly. I need to get an enormous Cauldron of Broth on you. Probably should have recruited up a handful of troops too, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, so he's the Sword that burns coal. Okay, so he actually comes with a Frostbrand. It's same stats and everything. It doesn't actually go in his slot here. So he'll save you 5 water gems, which is not all that big of a deal. He is a very good leader, though, as it says at the end of his card here. Again, ice protection, cold power, so his stats are looking absolutely incredible overall. Pretty fantastic unit. Oh, let's, I want you to clear a couple more afflictions, to be honest. I don't know, just research. Oh, I've actually got another devil I can cast, so 3 more to go. So let's go ahead and get that out. I don't know, just research all of you guys. I forged a bunch of gear between turns right there. Just, yeah, research, that's fine. Okay, so I've pulled that back, and basically once Kalium is down, which shouldn't be too many turns. Wow, how long am I into this? 23 minutes, not too far. Sorry, everybody. I know I spent a long time kind of bitching about the Construction 8. It's just not worth it anymore. It's just not worth it. Basically, once Kalium's dead, though, I'm just going to hit this throne. I'm going to get my armies basically set up right here. I'll hit this and basically break through in a turn or two. And then I will bring a massive force down here, and we will break through this castle. Or, I don't know, maybe this one. Just one of those down there. Whichever one looks easier. And that will give me enough thrones to win, along with the throne that Kalium controls. Oh, wow, I can actually... And this is what I'm talking about as far as that map move 6. If you can just get a long area, you can run some pretty long lengths on the maps. Kind of want to get a few more of the Ice Devils, so... Yeah, I didn't realize I was going to bust through that so fast. Alright, looks good. If you can't tell, I'm just trying to get through this so that this is done overall. Looks like I win. Really, not that much for a throne, to be honest. Oh, looks like I finally had a winner. Let's check it out and see how weak this has to be in order to get a winner. This is how weak it has to be in order for me to get a win right here. Oh, and I've actually got a shaman of all things. So there we go. Finally, 9th, 10th, 20th, 6th attack, something like that. Oh, and it looks like they've managed to push Baratos all the way back. I imagine that has a lot to do with the cold 3 skills I dropped, which are really, really messing with them, I'm sure. Okay, so we're going to bring... I'm actually going to come up here and take that out with an actual army, which means I can pull these up and I can pull those up. I guess let's wow, that's not very good. This should be better. Yeah, because this was a capital. So I'm going to turn those on as well. That way, again, I'll just break through these forts really, really fast. So it looks like we got Bifrons. So Bifrons is actually an astral caster, so he can do a little bit more overall. Magic Scepter, not very useful. Honestly, he can just make himself ethereal. That's really the selling point of this guy. So it gives you a little bit of a variation in your casting, honestly, so that they have to bring some sort of magic weapons to really counter him overall. Whatever. Can you make it? Yeah, you can make it there, so that's good. Sure, just research. If I wasn't wanting to just kind of show off the various summons here, I would probably... just quit blood hunting and everything. In fact, I'm not sure why I'm doing this at this point, because the game's basically over. We're really just in the cleanup phase. Alright, so I've got the Throne of Ascension. Hopefully we will knock Kalium's area down right here. So I do have these on hold and attack. This is just because I don't want them jumping back here and basically destroying my profit. I don't want to wait 6 months till I can cap these other thrones, all 3 of them, so that I can win. You know what? I think up front we're just going to storm the castle with these 3 guys and just see what happens. Oh, I finally got Dominion, but not really enough to do anything with. You know what? Why don't you guys just come down here and get ready to tee up against... I know I just brought you up there, but we're just going to get them in position here, actually probably right here, so that I can collect up all those troops, because I basically just want to end the game at this point. And this will probably be the last turn right here. Oh, I thought that was going to be a war. Okay... Really? I managed to actually win that, huh? Okay, so we've stomped the tons of little guys that were right there. Oh, did I actually still launch you guys into that war? Okay, well, that works. I didn't lose my profits, that's fine, I guess. Yes, yes, yes. I don't care. A thief has stolen some of your magic gems. This is actually usually kind of a bad event. Really, we're at the kind of tail end of the game, so I'm not too worried, to be honest. Alright, so I completely kind of whiffed that. I sent both groups in anyways. Let's get an enormous cauldron of broth here, so that all of my giant groups have them. And actually, let's just go ahead and end it right here. This is going on 30 minutes. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.